A Super Saturday of soccer continues in Seattle, where the top team in the National Women's Soccer League tries to keep its unbeaten record intact. From Memorial Stadium, the Seattle Reign play host to Sky Blue FC at Moda Health Pitch. Great to have you with us, everyone, along with Leslie Gallimore, the head coach at the University of Washington. I'm Tom Glasgow. Reign checking into this game with an unblemished record. 11 wins, no losses, 2 ties. They've dealt with all kinds of adversity on the pitch, some adversity off the pitch. The bottom line is they have shown to be, Leslie, a mentally tough team. Yeah, 11-0-2 coming in here. Between last year and this year, adversity is something that they thrive in. And I think, between the happenings this week off the field, being away from home, Haley Koppmeyer getting 2 starts and performing really well, they just overcome. Being down 1-0 and coming back and winning late in the game 2-1, all those things, I think, bode for a championship team and a championship mentality. I'm looking forward to seeing them play at home again tonight. Third meeting between these teams this season. The first 2 from a Reign perspective have been on the road, both victories. And the star for Seattle in those games, Naomi Kawasumi, she has scored 3 goals this season. All 3 have come against Sky Blue. And Naho, she's just a tremendous player to watch. She hangs out there on the wing. Technically, she's good. And off the ball is what you want to watch. Her movement off the ball and her ability to get in behind defenses and shred them a little bit is fun. It's a spectacle. Sky Blue comes into this match 7th place in the NWSL. That is not for any lack of effort and production out of midfielder Katie Friel. She is their leading goal scorer with 5, one of those coming against the Reign earlier this season. And, how they like to say at Auburn, her alma mater is War Eagle, and she is one. She's a quintessential 10 player. She's got great vision, can play a great final pass, and has the ability to score. So it's going to be a great matchup of the 2 10s between Kim Little and Katie Friels. Sun is out in Seattle. We're expecting a record crowd for the Reign. Great to have you with us. It's the Reign against Sky Blue. Let's take a look at the starting lineups. First of all, for the visitors from take a look at the starting lineup for the visitors. First of all, for Sky Blue FC, head coach Jim Gabarra. He has been leading this club since back in the WPS days, since 2011. His club with 15 points coming in. And for Coach Gabarra, it's Brittany Cameron once again in goal. Captain Christy Rampone anchors the back line. In the midfield, we talked about Katie Friels. She and Sophie Schmidt do an outstanding job. And up front, we think we're going to see a good dose of U.S. national team member Kelly O'Hara and Janelle Foligno. For Laura Harvey and the Seattle Reign, the starting lineup tonight in goal, Haley Koppmeyer, her 3rd straight start. Hope Solo, whose arrest and weekend in jail has been well documented, is on the bench, is eligible to play, but barring injury to Koppmeyer, not expected to see action tonight. Kate Dynas starts on the back line for an injured Lauren Barnes. Kim Little, the leading candidate for league MVP, tops the National Women's Soccer League with 11 goals. A lot of things will run through Kim in the midfield. And up front, Sydney LaRue seeks to score for the 3rd time in 4 matches. She went through quite a scoreless drought, but seems to be picking up the pace, and that is obviously a good sign for Seattle. Well, it's an outstanding sign for Seattle, Tom. We said it all along. Once Sid gets going, she's going to get going. And that's the thing about this team. They have so many weapons up front and in the midfield and just in general as far as scoring potential. And if one person's not doing it, you can always look to someone else. So I just think they're tough to stop for that reason. Mentioned Haley Koppmeyer in goal. Happy birthday to her, turning 24 today. It's 1 year and 1 day, I believe, since her release from this team. So an example of perseverance paying off for Haley Koppmeyer, who gets again the start tonight. And what a great kid she is. She's just got a tremendous attitude. She's got a couple games under her belt. She has performed in a tough situation for the Reign, and I think they're all super proud of her. So happy birthday, Haley. Speaking of birthdays, tomorrow will be a birthday for Kim Little, her 24th as well, as we are just underway here in Seattle. Memorial Stadium opened in 1947. If you're not familiar with this area, a lot of our viewers back in the New Jersey area. Memorial Stadium is about a 2-minute walk from the Space Needle, Seattle Center. Great gathering on Saturday with the sun out in Seattle. A terrific crowd, a record-setting crowd we're expecting here tonight of about 6,000 to watch Sky Blue and Seattle go head-to-head.
Well, it's super exciting this week. Starting on Tuesday, the Elite Club National League Championships are here over at 60 Acres in Redmond, and the ECL Commissioner, Sarah Kate Knopfsinger, and their crew doing a great job promoting the game to those players. So there are all kinds of girls soccer players roaming around Seattle Center as I was coming in, and it looks like they've showed up in force here today, which is outstanding.
And ball against Ellie Reed of Seattle. Rampone, far touchline. Gets the pass back. Playing it forward, Stephanie Cox. Like Rampone, a member of the U.S. national team. While the men play their World Cup right now in Brazil, the countdown well underway for the women next summer in Canada.
Yeah, you know, I feel, you know, between out on the field with the youth players this week, the World Cup the last couple of weeks, and, you know, the Sounder men won today back at DC United 1-0. Soccer's wearing me out. I've just been living in a high state of alert on soccer news and updates. You know, I'm already starting to get depressed for when the World Cup ends.
Yeah, yesterday was a day of withdrawal with no action, but terrific excitement getting things going today in Brazil.
Yeah, I mean, your heart has to go out to Chile a little bit.
Kendall Johnson playing it back. Sky Blue getting some pressure. Bev Goebel. And the ball turned over. Kawasumi. Reed on the overlap. Keelan Winters. Quick touch for Little. Kawasumi in the direction of Goebel. Sophie Schmidt with good defense for Sky Blue. Kate Dynas gets Seattle back on the attack. Cox into the 18 and headed away by Rampone.
It's great to see Kate back on the pitch. You know, she played quite a bit last year, and she's gave way to Lauren Barnes and Kendall Fletcher playing at the center back spot, and she's played some crucial minutes throughout the season. But now with Lauren going out for the first time in 33 matches, for Kate to be able to step in the last couple games and play at that center back spot, super proud of her, mentally sticking with it, and she's performed really well. Happy to see it.
Winters, a lot of space in the midfield. Switch over to Reed, and Ellie unable to control that. Kate, in fact, initially credited with a goal last week at Western in New York. That was later ruled an own goal, but very heavily involved in that play. Unfortunately, that ruling going against her.
We all watched it a couple times in slow motion. I said, I'm not so sure that was Kate's, but I'm not going to be the one to tell him it wasn't.
Throw in for Sky Blue. Coming off that 2-1 victory on Wednesday down in Portland against the Thorns.
That's a great win on the road for Coach Gabera, and I talked to Jim a little bit beforehand, and he's been super pleased with, you know, again, you don't want to look at the standings too closely. You just want to, you know, get your team going right at the right time of year, and I think he feels as if his team is going the right way. You know, they've kind of switched some things up, moved players around here and there, and they're certainly performing better. And again, a win on the road against the Thorns is a quality win.
Rampone to take the free kick. Early test possibly here for Kopmeyer. Fishlock with a header. Battle in the box. Foligno down, shot, and the save by Kopmeyer.
Fortunate there, Kate going down on that ball, you know, not to cause a foul or give up any kind of PK, and gave Haley a chance to make the save, and she does well there to tip it over the bar for a corner.
Nana Kidu, member of the Japanese national team, to take the corner. Plays it low.
Great read by Kim Little, not shocking there. Let's see how the Reign do on the break.
And LaRue in full stride, has to wait just a bit, plays it back. And a great opportunity. The timing a little bit off on that pass to LaRue, and that disrupted the flow on that attack for Seattle.
Yeah, I thought that was actually a pretty intelligent pass by Sydney LaRue with good quality. Jess Fishlock trying to get in behind and going forward. Should have slowed down because she would have been off if she was in behind Rampone. And there you see the speed of Christy Rampone. You know, she's no spring chicken, but she runs like one. She, you know, stalwart center back on the U.S. national team, ridiculous number of caps, and just still mother of two, as fit as most college players. It's amazing to watch.
Rampone on the ball right now. Of course, it would be a terrific trip out to the Northwest for Sky Blue if they can hand Seattle its first defeat of the season and combine that with a win at Portland on Wednesday. They'd be very happy heading back home to New Jersey.
Yeah, it's, you know, the Reign have faced here at home at least.
Great ball by Little.
Teams coming out in, you know, different strategies against them, whether they're going to press, sit back.
Kawasumi, Goebel, left foot deflected in a corner coming up for the Reign.
And what I'd say right now is that the Reign are already kind of getting through them and getting forward into dangerous positions, probably a little bit more easily than Coach Gabera would like.
First corner of the match for the Reign. Kawasumi to take it.
Big improvement over last year. The Reign last year struggled to score on restarts. This year they've been outstanding. Look for Keelan Winters, who's outstanding in the air. Kate, they go for a short corner here. They've all kind of dangerous weapons in and around the box.
Kawasumi plays it into the 18. LaRue gets a head on it. It'll be a goal kick for Sky Blue. And Keelan Winters, when she scores, it is usually with the head.
And it's good to see Keelan. She got clocked a few weeks back, and glad that that didn't keep her out like it might have.
Foligno heading it forward. Kendall Fletcher, one of her first touches here tonight. Forward up ahead to Levin. And it'll be a throw in for Seattle. Reed. Fishlock. Thought Goebel would make a break a little bit earlier, but a throw in for the Reign.
Here early on, a little teeny bit uncharacteristic of the Reign. Their final pass and just their connection hasn't quite clicked yet.
Sunday playing at Western New York, traveling back home on Monday. The Reign off Tuesday and Wednesday, and then training sessions Thursday and yesterday. Friels with a takeaway, well defended by Katie, who gives it up to Kawasumi. And Naho to Winters. Foligno, Friels, and Sophie Schmidt with a nice fine far touchline.
You see Naho doing a lot of work defensively. This is a little bit different tactics than I've seen from the Reign. She's come inside quite a bit already. I don't know if they're having her because of the numbers in the midfield for Sky Blue come in and help defensively, but then she kind of floats back out to the wing when they get into attacking shape.
Nice build up here for Sky Blue.
Good composure by Haley Kopmeyer.
Talking to her yesterday, said, "Are you having fun?" You know, it was tough for her last year to get cut by this team as a rookie out of the University of Michigan. She goes, "I'm having a blast." You know, you have to have the joy in what you do, whether you get a lot of minutes or very few. And she has found that joy and certainly looking for more success in goal here tonight with her third straight start.
You know, and as a young player, it's good to see because a lot of times, you know, especially going from high school to college and kids that are, you know, they're good. They go into these great college programs and they play a lot of minutes and they get a lot of time. And that's an adjustment for an American player to understand as a young professional that you just have to be patient, wait your turn, work hard and earn it. And great for Haley to be able to do that. I know, you know, her coach at the University of Michigan be proud of that.
Fletcher looking for LaRue. Cameron with the save, a collision in the box. No harm, no foul. Also a description of one of your former players in Kate Dynas, and you know, Kate not getting as many minutes as she did last year. Well, part of that is this is a much better team this year than it was a year ago, but has found a very important role with this club and getting the start tonight with Barnes' injury, glute strain. Reed taken away, well done. Foligno looking for Nana. Offside, flag up.
Yeah, a couple little bad giveaways there. Rain not starting with the tempo and the rhythm that I don't think Laura would like to see. But what we've seen in this team too is that they don't panic. You know, they'll get it right. They'll start to knock the ball around. Sky Blue, again, they're getting good numbers around the ball and pressing them a little bit in their front half. So the back line for the Rain have to understand they're not going to be able to take 3, 4, and 5 touches on the ball. They've got to break pressure in 1 or 2 touches and get the ball into the middle third and front third a little bit quicker.
Off the head of Cutshaw. Winters plays it over to Cox. A lot of room for Stephanie here. Kawasumi. Goebel left foot. And just missing corner coming up. The deflection on that shot by Bev Goebel, who came very close to her 3rd goal this season.
Yeah, Bev Goebel can hit it with either foot, and she turned and got in there. I don't think she hit it quite as well as she would have wanted to, but it did get the deflection. And Brittany Cameron, you saw she was already on the ground, and Sky Blue actually fortunate there for it not to take a hop into the goal.
Second corner for Seattle. The first was a short corner. Let's see what Kawasumi does this time. Low liner looking for Goebel. Schmidt knocks it away, and another corner coming up for Seattle. Always so important to be first to the ball. That's obviously the mindset of both the offensive and defensive players. The key is who gets there. Kawasumi again, low.
Clearly, part of the set piece, they've gone kind of low and near post 2 times, either something they've seen on the scout or trying to mix up their own restarts.
Fletcher trying to keep it in. Goal kick coming up for Sky Blue off the pass from Stephanie Cox.
I'm not sure that Brittany Cameron or goalkeeping coach Jay Cooney for Sky Blue would want to see that again on tape, because she came fishing for that ball, and she was lucky there wasn't someone far post to get on the end of that. That was definitely not great timing on her part.
Brittany getting her 6th start of the season, goals against average of 1.4. A little better than Jill Lloyden, who's had the majority of starts in goal this season for Sky Blue.
And Jill, another regular on national team rosters. Outstanding ball by Naho to get Kim Little in.
Little, leading goal scorer in the league, shoots and saved by Cameron. Little denied goal number 12.
Yeah, and you saw Kim there get in, and she sliced and diced a little bit, but she kind of went square at the last minute, and you saw her punch her hand into her own palm there, disappointed in herself, because that's one that she normally would put on frame and not wait that long to shoot.
Ford to throw it in. Schmidt. And Sky Blue will reset. There's Ford. Ahead to Friels. Deflected by Winters. Well defended by Keelan Winters.
Outstanding work by Keelan. She takes a beating.
She does.
I think last year that player was Jess Fishlock, and Keelan, I don't know, she didn't seem to take as many hits, but this year Jess seems to be steering clear of most of them, and Keelan just gets battered in most games. She's up again, though, and,
She has a sister who's joined the Reign staff as an intern. They might want to think about swapping out every now and then.
The body double.
Fishlock. Kendall Fletcher has been outstanding. I think really one of the unsung standouts for this team, playing it ahead. Reed to Goebel. Defended by Johnson.
Good inside run by outside back Ellie Reed.
Kawasumi.
Good numbers forward for the Reign right now, and this is where you want to see them possess the ball and knock it around.
Nice touch by LaRue, looking for Kawasumi. And a corner coming up for Seattle, number 4.
Yeah, they're
Seems like a matter of time with all the pressure they're putting on Sky Blue right now.
They start to get their rhythm. They get their numbers forward. And again, great switching of the point of attack there. And small little combinations in and around the top of the box and being patient in possession. And that seems to be this year the signature of the Seattle Reign.
Kawasumi again, that low line drive service to the near post. Cox. LaRue gets a touch on it, headed away by Rampone. Fishlock. LaRue. Little. Nearly got it through to Goebel. Well defended by Kendall Johnson, but the Reign take it right back.
Now they've got, 9 players within, 40 yards of the goal there. And you just see the great little seams they get into, the movement off the ball. Kim Little coming inside and playing that across the grain pass to try to get in between the backs, and she just missed it. But this is, again, where they do their best work, and you can kind of feel it coming. What they don't want to have happen is give up a counter and get one scored on them against the run, so they've got to protect against that.
Brittany Cameron dealing with a lot of pressure so far. In goal for Sky Blue out of Dublin, California, University of San Diego. Kawasumi over there battling forward, wins that little matchup. LaRue. Goebel with pressure. They got a foot on that boot by Cameron.
Brittany Cameron being awfully casual. Good composure again by Haley Kopmeyer.
Taken away. Well done. O'Hara.
Uncharacteristic giveaway by Keelan Winters. Good pressure by Ellie Reed to win it right back.
Schmidt to Rampone.
Remember I did this last time, Tom. Started to do the play-by-play for you. I'm color,
Have
right?
at it.
Okay,
Have
sorry.
at it.
I got to think of a colorful story.
We're teammates.
I'm practicing just in case anyone ever asks me. And it's nice of you to let me.
Anytime. Kopmeyer trying to figure out what's the best approach here. She goes with a long ball, headed by Johnson. Schmidt pops it up in the area of O'Hara.
As much as everyone knows how much it pains me to say it, but 2 more pilots on the field, and Canadian Sophie Schmidt and left back Kendall Johnson, 2 outstanding players from just south of here, enjoy great collegiate careers and find themselves doing the same in the professional league.
Ford, far touch line. Trying to get by Kawasumi, plays it ahead. Foligno doubled up. And Dinas comes out with the ball.
That's what I like about Kate's game. She's technically very good with both feet. She's got her head up. She plays simple. You don't see her giving possession away.
Little. Looking for support.
And patience. She's going to wait to build numbers. Kim will make good decisions.
Here comes Reed on the overlap.
This is something, again, that we talk about, the sophistication of the international players in this league, and no more so than Kim Little, who it's something you don't typically see as much in the American game.
Kawasumi deflected shot. Cameron with a save.
I feel like Brittany Cameron's living a little on the edge here. But as I was saying, Kim gets up, there's numbers around her. She doesn't try to force the ball forward. She doesn't try to play a ball that's not on. She comes back, they switch the point, and they end up getting a shot out the other side. And that's something that, when you're coaching college players, youth players, you want them to pay attention to the decision-making of a player like Kim Little.
Goebel battling with Johnson. Good footwork by Ellie Reed. And Fletcher with a switch to Cox. 20th minute here in Seattle, scoreless. Fishlock ahead to Little. It's a race with Rampone. And Little wins that race. She'll hold.
As much as she won that race, Christy Rampone again, making her have to go backwards. You have to admire the U.S. captain, the captain of Sky Blue, holding her and making her go back.
Cox to Kawasumi. With room, the shot. And Cameron with a save. Not sure she needed to dive for that. The only problem with that, if you dive when a ball is clearly wide and you don't control it, you're giving up a corner kick to the opposition, but she hauled it in.
She gets outside of her box pretty well on that punt.
Johnson trying to make the pass as she lost her footing. Fletcher ahead to LaRue. Cutshaw with the defense. LaRue cutting it back, but Schmidt is there.
Sydney LaRue doing a great flaring run to get out wide and a great ball forward by Kendall Fletcher. What Sydney needs to do there is take a little page out of Kim's book. She has the ball. There's not numbers forward yet. She just has to be patient and find someone to connect with, build numbers within 30 yards of the goal because they're capable of it.
Levin. Ball taken away by Winters.
So far, I mean, simple game by her so far, but you really haven't noticed Jess Fishlock yet that much. And normally what you'll see is just her start out being kind of a connector, making sure that the shape's right, making sure that they're not getting scored on. But as the game heats up, you'll see her be more of an attacking presence. And that's someone that Sky Blue can ill afford to take their eye off of defensively.
Just last season, a member of the NWSL's Best 11. Reed. And looking for LaRue. Ellie played her more to midfield. Sydney broke to the near touchline. Here's Rampone.
Not to pour salt in the wound, but I figure our friends from the UK are up watching this, seeing as they don't have anyone else to watch.
Oh, that's a little. That's a subtle. That's not a.
The next few weeks.
Not a subtle shot you took right there.
It's okay. The U.S. has taken plenty of unsubtle shots from the Brits in the past about our football, so they're overdue.
For Eels. Well, she has a quality left foot.
Yeah, didn't hit that one the way she wanted to, but did a lot of good work to get the shot off.
The goal she had at Portland on Wednesday to get Sky Blue on the board
was
from
a cracker.
About 40 yards out. Unger coming off her line, and Katie looked up, saw the opportunity. And it wasn't a rocket by any stretch, but just the perfect touch as she arced it just inside the post and the crossbar to the right side of the net, got it in.
Both teams settling in a little bit here. You see Sky Blue dropping in to about 3/4 of the field before they confront.
LaRue. Yeah, Sydney had a great idea, just trying to flick it over Cameron, who had come well off her line, just a little too strong on that touch.
Yeah, again, I'm not trying to be overly critical, but I think Brittany Cameron is making some interesting plays. And if, as far as her timing of coming out, staying set, moving in and around her box, it's only a matter of time before one of those decisions is going to bite her a little bit. And Sid had a perfectly good opportunity there to chip her over the top, just missed it.
Winters over to Cox. Nana to Schmidt.
Our statistical excuse me, our statistical sort of technology and or sophistication up here isn't great, but possession-wise for Seattle, I think they've had pretty good possession, but I also think for them, a little bit uncharacteristic in the unforced giveaways. There's another one uncharacteristic of Jess Fishlock. That's not a ball she'll usually lose. I think they need to get themselves into a more of a 6, 7, 8 pass rhythm. And right now, the energy level for them in particular doesn't look high. 0-0. That's fine and dandy. What they don't want to find themselves into late in the game when fatigue starts to set in for them is a tight game. They need to come out and, push a little bit harder here in the get-go.
Fishlock looking for Goebel offside. And that's surprising considering you have your best crowd of the season. And they've certainly brought some anticipation to see this unbeaten team deliver tonight.
Yeah, I would say, you know, the two-game road trip and a little bit of the controversy from the week and the emotion of it all, and having to deal with Hope's situation has probably taken a little bit of a toll on this team emotionally. And, you know, no one handles players and management better than Laura Harvey does. I've had a lot of opportunity this week to talk to Laura, and, you know, she's proud of her team, but this week hasn't gone without a little bit of stress for everyone involved. So, you know, I think they score a goal here and give this crowd something to get into. I think you'll see them uplifted and start to play a little bit more energetic soccer.
Sky blue, as long as Seattle doesn't get that goal to get everybody going, they've got a great opportunity here to put a little heat on Seattle. Levin with a header. Nice anticipation that time by Keelan Witters. Kawasumi playing it ahead for LaRue, looking to get past her national team teammate in Rampone. Instead, deciding to reset things. Now run it back through the midfield with Fishlock. Room for Little. And just really kind of playing in neutral right now. Fishlock stumbles, regains her balance. Well done by Jess. Cox moving forward. LaRue. 3 Sky Blue players around her, and she got out of that little jam.
Good possession here now by the Reign.
Goebel working on Johnson. 2 very strong physical players. Bev trying to split, goes down, no call.
I don't think that was a call. Bev's usually pretty good at trying to sell them, but I think that was fair challenge there.
Here Coach Gabara shouting out some instructions from Sky Blue bench. Here's Little to Reed, back to Kim.
This is where they need to, again, a little bit slower rhythm in the midfield, and then once they get into the final third, start to pick up the pace a little bit. Faster runs off the ball, somebody darting into the channels in between. There's patience, and then playing this slowly with someone like Christy Rampone leading him at the back, they're not going to be able to break them down playing at that tempo, in my opinion.
Schmidt. Nana. Here's Friels. Check it, O'Hara. Schmidt. Just a bit outside, not exactly what Sophie would expect from herself.
I'd like to tell Sophie we're enjoying the blue skies. It's rained a little bit here the last couple days and even this morning, so if she could avoid hitting a cloud and busting it open,
boy,
we'd appreciate it.
You're on fire tonight.
Yeah, you know, trying to spice things up a little bit. This game's lulling me.
I think lull is the word for about the last 10 minutes. Ellie Reed trying to change that, working on Schmidt.
Pilot versus Pilot.
Here's Little.
Just off a little step. Good numbers forward, though.
Cox.
Only one player in the box. Kim Little going out, and really right now, Goebel and Winters. Lack of movement, I think, on the Reign's part. They could be creating a little bit more off the ball just by moving.
Fletcher. Very nice ball over to Cox. Stephanie playing it in. Cutshaw getting it out of the danger area for Sky Blue, and a throw in for Seattle. Nice move by Keelan Winters. And usually do not see a ball played that poorly by Stephanie Cox. Rock solid on that back line and really does a terrific job in that final third, but not that time. So Cameron with a goal kick. Seattle coming into this game with the unbeaten record of 11 wins, no losses, 2 draws, 35 points, 8 points ahead of FC Kansas City. And FC Kansas City with 2 more games played than Seattle. So the Reign in a very strong position just past the midway point of the NWSL campaign.
Yeah, you know, Laura Harvey, we had a coaches symposium on Wednesday, Women's Pioneer Coaches Symposium before this last recruiting event for the college coaches started, and Laura Harvey was kind enough to come and be the opening speaker, and it was just really fun to listen to Laura talk about this season and talk about this team and how proud she is of them. And you know, 11-0-2, she'll be the first one to tell you they've won nothing yet. But to look at where they were last year and look at how they've performed and how they've come back in games and shown the grit and resiliency that they've had, she couldn't be more proud of this group of players and how they play together as a team and how they have each other's backs, really.
Well, forward with a nice play into the box, cut back. Fishlock there. And
good defending by Jess Fishlock. That's a great little cutback by Cami Levin.
Megan Rapinoe, by the way, we want to get you up to date on Megan. Went through her first training session in a long, long while yesterday. Do not expect to see her to play tonight. She's only played in 1 game, and that was the season opener back on April 13th, but dealing with an issue of contusion, bone contusion in her left foot inside the box, and contact Dinas and Foligno. And Foligno holding her face.
Kate, cool as a cucumber, plays that one off. No foul called. The ice woman, Dinas.
Back to Rapinoe, working out before the match today. And it's been 2.5 months, so she's frustrated, but getting closer. So you can imagine her addition to this squad and what that would mean.
Yeah.
It would mean a tough decision in terms of the starting lineup, because Kawasumi's been outstanding taking over in that starting role for Rapinoe.
Well, and they just have so many moving parts, you know, and some of these players this point in the season, you want to be able to rest them anyway so that they can make a good championship run. Bev Goebel's played a lot of minutes. Sid's played a lot of minutes. Naho has played a lot of minutes. Kim, Fish. I mean, you can move their front 6, front 5 around a lot, and you know, you don't keep Megan Rapinoe off the field if she's healthy. You talk about savvy and sophistication. I would put her as #1 amongst American players with something that looks a little bit more European.
That last foul on Goebel. Levin punching it ahead. Dinas there for Seattle. '34th minute at Memorial Stadium. Seattle coming out in this match really putting a lot of pressure on the Sky Blue defense, quite a bit of pressure on Brittany Cameron, but over the last 15 minutes or so, I think you used an accurate word, lull. There's just been a lull in terms of the crispness and energy on the pitch.
Don't say lull again. I'm getting sleepy, Tom.
I'll try to keep
Stop
you awake.
Stop saying lull. I'm kidding. Yeah, I think there's something missing right now from this game. Well, 1, a goal. 2, a little bit of a spark by the Reign. They do. They have a big home crowd. They're playing with composure. They're playing well enough. But at the end of the day, you know, I think people came out here to see them really get after it a little bit more. And to be honest, Jim Gabera would tell you in the scheduling, they've had the week off, and Sky Blue played the other night. So they should at home take advantage of that early on in a game and not let Sky Blue stick around.
O'Hara, hard work by Kelly O'Hara. Foul going against Seattle. Well, so when you're in a situation like this, do you try to, for example, good things usually happen when Kim Little's on the ball. Do you start looking for her more, seeing if she can create more opportunities? I mean, specifically, let's find Kim, or is that going a little too far in that direction?
No, not at all. I think, well, let's see them. I think Christy's just going to put the ball down and maybe not. She's going to play it forward. So let's watch them defend this restart, Tom, and I'll think about that question and answer you when we keep the ball out of the back of the net.
Into the 18. Shot by Friels. I think she was claiming deflection, looking for the corner kick. It'll be a goal kick instead for Kottmeyer.
Well, it's not so much that you absolutely, you are always going to look for Kim Little when she's on the field, but the big thing to me right now is just the mobility off the ball. There's not a lot of movement. It's one-paced. It's too easy. You know, look at the numbers back right now. There's 5 on their back line. Sophie Schmidt drops all the way back in. You're just not going to beat a good team and good players like Sky Blue without moving off the ball a little bit more. And there's only so much Kim can do. She has to have runners. She has to have people drawing people out to create space for her. So I think they'll get it as we go here.
Cox. That is a terrific ball directed for Kawasumi. Naho with a left foot. Can really get the power behind it she wanted. Easy save for Cameron.
And right now it's not even so much power behind. It's just like they're going through the motions. That's not a shot she would normally take. Falling away, going square. I mean, it can be better.
Levin. Dynas up ahead to Goebel. Schmidt for Sky Blue. Nice job by Cox to keep the ball in play. Cox didn't get the touch on that she wanted. Foligno with it, taken away by Seattle, and then Ford getting it back. Nice job by Ford. Caitlin ahead, the ball serviced into the box, and Reed the touch. Friels off the volley, unable to connect the way she would like. Nana with a shot blocked. Kawasumi with her national team teammate getting a grab from
Smart Nana. I mean, slows her down. Great part of the field. Not a bad place to get it away. Prevents them from going on a break. Again, international players and just the little things they do that show their high soccer intelligence are fun to notice.
Nana and Kawasumi had a very good experience over in Vietnam. The Asian Cup won by the Japanese. First time Japan has won the Women's Asian Cup. And they qualified along with 4 other clubs for the World Cup in Canada next summer.
Yeah, and here we are in the 38th minute. I don't know where I've been the last 20, but we're in the 38th minute. And this is where, if you are a Seattle Reign player, if you're Coach Laura Harvey, again, a little bit too casual, not enough urgency. If they want to get 3 points out of this game, they've got to pick up the tempo. They've got to pick up the pace and the intensity of this game. Sky Blue's good enough to score on you. They've shown that. They're a team that's been bitten. They're coming off a great win. They're fighting to get themselves into the top half of the table. There's all kinds of things here that need to go better for the Reign.
Giveaway by 11, Kawasumi. Going for LaRue. And Cutshall.
That's a lazy giveaway
lazy
giveaway by Lindsay Cutshall. That ball should have been played out on the sideline. She gives up an unnecessary corner, and I guarantee that Coach Gabera is hoping right now that this one isn't one that they give up a goal on.
I think this is the first corner from the near touch line for Seattle. And 4 previous coming from the far end, so we'll see if we get a little different result here. Fishlock making herself available for the short corner, but far post is the play. Dynas getting a foot on it. Kim Little maybe with a handball, but not called, or was it?
It was, and Kate does a great job to keep that ball alive. She didn't have a clear header on it, but then as it popped out, she went. I think she could have had a shot, but she kind of deferred to Kim Little, as you know, I think a lot of players do. But then it was kind of a I go, you go ball, and no one went. So no opportunity there. And we forge ahead here to the 40th minute.
By the way, our referee tonight, let's give the officials some credit. Chris Spivey is our referee. The ARs are Vicente Cortez and Chuck Spaniola. And Timon Berry is your 4th official. 41st minute here in Seattle.
Was Chicago the last home game we had?
I will have to double check.
Speaking of the officials. Sorry, cold call, Tom. Just to have that info for me.
I broadcast them one game at a time.
Same. I just remember thinking that the last game here was a little bit of a bloodbath, and you were speaking about the officials, and neither team tonight has really given the officials much to do. I think I could officiate this game.
You don't really want to make that transition from coaching into...
Put me in.
You're a glutton for punishment. Koppmeyer. You know, it's just ironic that you have the largest crowd you've had this season. It's the quietest crowd that we've had this season, and it's basically they've not been given much to respond to. So let's see if the rain in these final few minutes can get this crowd into the match. You want to take advantage of that energy and get that contribution from these fans.
Certainly do. Never mind the fact, Tom, that I thought they were also here to entertain you and I.
Well, that's part of it. Tackle by Fishlock.
Great tackle by Fishlock. Reels? Who was that calling for the foul there? That wasn't a foul. It was a great tackle. But Jess Fishlock doing a great job covering there. And that's one of the things with Kate you have to be careful of. There's a couple players here that, you know, she gets beat for speed.
So the corner for Sky Blue. O'Hara got up, got a head on it, but a goal kick for Seattle. You get the feeling it might be off a set piece. We see the first goal tonight, assuming we get a first goal tonight.
Have they been watching the World Cup? I'm positive they've been watching the World Cup.
Reed with a header, throw in coming up for Sky Blue. Fletcher ahead, looking for LaRue. And yes, it was Chicago, by the way, that last home match.
Yeah, and that one
back on the 7th.
It was. That one was. It wasn't the prettiest game. It was, but it was a physical matchup where it was tough for the officials to kind of keep control of it, and we saw a lot of blood, a lot of injury time.
Well, how about Seattle just becoming more physically aggressive here tonight to try to again get something going? Kawasumi.
That's a great idea by Naho to try to get in line. She just needs to get the serve off quicker. Again, just the urgency. I want to be a fly on the wall when Laura goes into the locker room with them. We haven't seen her even up much on the sideline. They haven't really given her much to say either. But you know, she's going to address a few things. There is space to play on this field. If they can move beyond the back line, play in front of the back line, switch the ball. They haven't even really crossed the ball and got out on the flanks and tested Brittany Cameron. There's goals to be had by the Seattle Reign if they start to play up to their capability.
So when you have one of your teams at the UW, let's say you have a flat first half, when you address your team in those types of situations, is it more about the tone? In other words, I'm going to let them know how unhappy I am, or is it more about the tactical?
Well, I think it's a combination of the two. I think, you know, for a halftime of a game like this, as a coach, I think you do have to bring a little bit of energy and intensity yourself to get them riled up a little bit. It doesn't necessarily have to be negative anger, but it definitely has to be some enthusiasm about what they're capable of doing. They're going to let potentially 3 points slip away by not putting their most energetic foot forward. But it's going to be about the tactics. Where's the space on the field to play right now? There's space in front of their back line. There's space out wide. There's space in between their line, you know, their backs. But the movement off the ball and the energy to try to connect and get forward just isn't there.
And that's the first half here in Seattle, scoreless, and plenty for both squads to talk about. Frankly, from a Sky Blue perspective, to some degree, mission accomplished. Yes, they would prefer to have the lead as they head in to the locker room, but they're taking on an unbeaten team in this league, and they can now, I think, Jim Gabarra can talk to his players about, we can get this done.
Yeah.
They're not at their best. Let's take advantage of what we've seen so far.
Yeah, and if I'm Jim, I'm saying that exact thing. We come out the second half and we try to catch them flat. We're, on the same side and the same note is that, Jim's team's not really taking advantage of what the Seattle Reign are giving them, which is kind of low energy, a little bit of sloppiness, opportunities to get forward. You saw Sky Blue in the beginning. Haley Kottmeyer had to make a couple of saves. That didn't happen much the rest of the half. They skied a couple balls. They didn't take a touch and really get a good shot on frame. But, if he can get them pumped up to come and catch one in the first 5 minutes of the second half and maybe even press them a little bit, I think Sky Blue, they could do some damage here if the Reign doesn't wake up.
Well, Seattle defensively this season, you look at the numbers, they've allowed just 10 goals. That is the best in the NWSL. The offense, the best in the league as well with 29, and someone who's contributed at both ends is Kendall Fletcher. She has been really rock solid on the defensive back line for Seattle, and recently Scott Levy sat down with Kendall to give you an opportunity to get to know her just a little bit better.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, homie.
Tell me about how you made it. How did you get this far? How did you become such a great athlete?
Well, I think my parents had a lot to do with it. They're both very athletic in different ways, but my mom was an athlete, and she obviously had a big impact on just starting me in sports, and she's an extremely competitive person. I've heard people say that, they think that I'm competitive, and I'm nothing compared to my mom. So she was an athlete all growing up, and she was kind of coming through right at the beginning of Title IX and where opportunities for women really started to open up. So she had an opportunity to play basketball and volleyball in high school and went on to college and played at Wake Forest. And so I grew up seeing her being very active and competitive in really whatever she did, and I think that I inherited that gene in her. And I think the running around, I really enjoyed that. I think I enjoyed having teammates. I mean, I really enjoyed gymnastics, but it's a very individual, very solo kind of endeavor. But when you step on a field with a soccer team, you have teammates, and I just kind of fell in love with it from the start. And then I think growing up, what's something that really impacted me was having role models that were women in the women's national team. So like the 99ers, and even a little bit before that, but obviously watching the 99 World Cup really inspired me and kind of set me on a path, I think, and put that dream, that possibility in my head. That's something that I wanted to do. I didn't know if it was possible, but I got on U19 national team, and I got to college and played in college, and all that was kind of off of my desire, my passion, and my dream of what I'd seen other people doing. And I grew up in North Carolina, so obviously UNC women's soccer. Like, I didn't think I was good enough to go there, and then I got recruited, and all of a sudden I was going, and that was a dream in and of itself. And that kind of carried me through. But I think once I hit professionally, I think what really changed was just my faith in God. That really kind of shifted my perspective of what I was trying to do. And I think when I was younger, I had a really hard time expressing myself. And I remember one day when I was pretty young just realizing that I didn't have to express myself to God. And for me, that was so empowering at the time because I didn't have any other way of expressing myself, of feeling heard, and I felt so alone and isolated. And I think at some point, it was like my relationship with God was something that helped me with my dream in soccer, but at some point that shifted. It didn't change me wanting to go after my dream of the national team and going to the Olympics and the World Cup, because that's still very much what I'm going after, but I've gotten to pursue what I've loved, but at the same time have a healthier perspective on life and what it means to be a good person and to find happiness. Did
you find your faith yourself, or was it something that was really instilled?
Well, look, I think, like I said, I grew up in an environment, my grandfather is a Presbyterian minister, and so the influence was always there, but I think finding that relationship, like I said, it was a very intimate and a very real thing for me at that young age, at a time when I really needed it. It's an important part of my family, but do we pray together? No. Was it something that was forced on me? No. It was something that's always been very much mine, and that's, I think, why I value it so much, and that is me, that is, who I am, and I don't talk about it a whole lot, but it is something that I think it's important to share, because you never know how it can impact someone else or how it can resonate with them.
Let's say in the future you have a girl of your own.
Yep.
And assuming you ever want to have kids, that's something I've asked the other girls about. You
Yeah.
want to have a family?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, definitely do.
In the future, if you have a girl of your own,
Yeah.
a boy, and your child comes to you and says, Mom, I don't know if I have faith. I know you do. I love you to death. I look up to you. You're the greatest mom in the world.
Yeah.
But I don't think that I need religion or a sense of a supreme being to be the person that I want to be kind, to be good, to be loving.
Yep.
Is that okay?
Obviously, I think, I would love my daughter no matter what. I love anybody no matter what. I don't think this changes whether it's your daughter, your friend, or anybody. I think that's her choice, and I would love her regardless, just like I love anybody regardless. I would just want that for her, but that's a choice that she has to make, just like anybody else. That's where the power in that relationship comes. I may not be the best at something, but I'm very good at everything that I do. And it's I think I'm a very cerebral player. I think about how to beat players, and then learning how to defend you teaches me how to attack you, because now understanding how and what you do well, then I kind of make that a part of my game, and understanding how to stop it helps me know how I can use it.
What's your dad like?
My dad, he's introverted. I think when I was younger, I thought I was always a lot more like my mom, just because she was athletic and competitive, and I related to that side of it. And then I went to college, and I think I always kind of annoyed my dad. I was loud. Didn't always listen, and he didn't have a lot of patience for that. But I think once I went to college, and I was you go through that time of searching for who you are, what does life mean, what is it all about? You start having more influences in your life. It's no longer this bubble that you were living in at home, and you start to question things. And writing emails to my dad became something that was a huge lifeline to me, and it was something that allowed him to us to relate. And I realized through that process that I think a lot like my dad, that he's a very cerebral person as well, that he likes to analyze things, and the way he understands things is by writing it down or figuring out. He'll write papers just so that he can understand something, about his introvertedness or about whatever it is that he's going through. And so we process things very similarly. So being able to, he's not an overly affectionate person, but in what he says and does, but through email and through being able to share our thoughts and ideas like that, it was really cool because it allowed us to connect in a way that I had never been able to do with my dad. And it's something that I value so much because he's helped me find a lot of perspective. He's helped me through a lot of the struggles that I've gone through. I think the biggest thing for me that he did in college was my sophomore year, came in, was playing great, earned my starting spot, playing at Carolina, playing for Anson. He's an amazing coach. And then I got hurt and I lost my starting spot. And I could tell coming in that there was a freshman that had come in that he really liked, and that he preferred over me. I just got that sense. And because I felt like Anson didn't have confidence in me anymore, and he had more confidence in her, I started playing poorly because I lost my confidence. And I remember talking about this with my dad, and instead of my dad being like, "Oh no, that is tough, Kendall, that's really hard," he's like, "No, Kendall, you've got to deal with that. Do you believe in yourself? Do you believe you're good enough? Well, then go out there and prove it. You have to prove it every day. It's not going to change whether on the soccer field or in life. Every day that you go out there, you have to prove yourself. You're only as good as your last performance. So yeah, you had a good couple of games, but now you've got to prove yourself again because you've had some poor performances, and that's on you. It's not on Anson. It's not on anybody else." And I'm so thankful that he had the courage to tell me that. I'm sure, at first I was kind of shocked, but it was exactly what I needed to hear. And those are kind of the little things that my dad has always been really good at kind of helping me navigate and, processing and intellectually thinking about something, not just getting caught up in the emotional side of things. And that was hard to hear, but it was the most powerful thing I think he could ever give me, because from that point on, I kind of took my success into my, that self-confidence and that self-belief. I realized that was something that I had to believe in more than anybody else. And Anson was right. I did have to improve. I did have to, whether he preferred someone or whether he didn't, I couldn't control that, but I could control what I believed about myself and the effort that I put in. And I did believe I was good enough to play, and I was able to win my starting spot back and, playing a national championship and all that stuff. So it was great, but I don't think I would have been able to achieve that if my dad didn't have the guts to kind of say, "Kendall, no, it's not good enough. I'm not going to have a pity party with you. I'm going to tell you how it is."
Does your dad tell you he loves you?
Yeah, he does. I think he didn't as much when we were little, but now he does. And I think I've come to understand that how my dad says he loves me is in different ways. He does say it, but it's in those messages. It's in those moments that we share. It's just being able to spend time with my dad and having him share what he thinks and that's his way of saying, "I love you. I'm opening up to you," because he doesn't do that with everybody else. And it's really special that he does that with me. And so he does say he loves me without words and with words, I think. And it took me a while to learn that, but it's something that's really special.
Kendall Fletcher, a University of North Carolina grad, as she was talking about, a member of the 2003 National Championship team, 2 goals this season for the Seattle Reign, and she has, Leslie, really been so solid as part of that much improved defensive back line for Seattle this season.
She has. She's a great athlete. She's dangerous on set pieces up front. She scored a couple goals. She can do a flip.
Really good flip.
You know what? Whether they score a goal right now, I want her to come out on the kickoff and just do a standing flip just to get the crowd into it.
Maybe that's it.
Flip from the center half down to the top of the D, get ready to start the game and get these people on their feet ready to go.
Get a good look at the Sky Blue Club as they are out, and certainly they see an opportunity not only to come away with a win at Portland on Wednesday, but hand Seattle its first loss of the season. So I think I would really expect this group to come out with a lot of energy here in the second half. And the longer this remains, scoreless in a tie, their confidence and their thought process of wanting to seize this opportunity, you would think, would only build. Meanwhile, for Seattle, we'll see how they respond to what Laura Harvey had to say to them at halftime. Both, as you said, probably a combination of I'm not happy with what I saw, and tactically, here's what you can do to take advantage of this Sky Blue squad.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know. I think one of the things, and I trust in Laura Harvey implicitly, and one of the things that I would have said to this team, and that maybe she did say to them, is that they've done something pretty special to start this season out 11-0-2. And if they don't put their best foot forward in the next 45 minutes and they give up a point, give up 2 points, give up 3 points, don't get the 3 that they should get out of this game, I think they'll be disappointed in themselves. You don't want to just rest on your laurels. You want to come out and play every single game, the best you can. And there's times when you're managing players, when you're managing fatigue, and I said at the beginning, Sky Blue's already played once this week, and the Reign haven't, and they're at home. They got to come out with more energy and put a couple goals in the back of the net.
Well, I think one of the reasons they've been so successful, Leslie, unbeaten through their first 13 games is they're not playing to the result. They really are playing for performance. I mean, they've had a number of wins in which they have not been at all pleased with the way that they have performed. And I think they're still, and it won't happen tonight because they've played a very unsatisfying first half, but a complete full 90-minute game where they feel like they've been at a high level from start to finish. That's okay. That's what drives you to be at your best, but they're still looking for that.
Absolutely, and I think that you're exactly right. I snickered a little bit, but it's funny. That opportunity has been lost. This isn't going to be their game where they say we played a great 90 minutes. So that's over with. Can they play one of their best 45s and wow the crowd and show the attacking style of soccer that they're used to playing? What you don't want to have happen as a team, no matter how much you're on the same page, is start to get used to this. Well, we can always come back, or we could always put one in the back of the net. I think your term you used with me at halftime was they just seemed disinterested. And again, you could have all the excuses in the book, but if you're going to be that resilient championship type team, you got to find a way to find an interest. And so who's the spark going to be? Which player on this team is going to be the one that steps up to the plate and brings that spark? And I'll be interested to see in this next 45 minutes.
Friels. Foligno stumbling as she was trying to make up her mind to shoot or pass. Tactically, let me ask you this. Do we need to see more possession and build-up for Seattle, or do we need to see more of a direct approach in the second half?
I think it's the same thing. I sound like a little bit of a broken record, and I don't know, possibly the irritation level in my voice rising. But they've tried it both ways. They've hit the ball from the back to the front with LaRue flaring out, and they've been on the break. They've built up, and they've had good numbers up front. They just haven't created anything. They're playing super narrow. They haven't gone wide. We haven't seen very many cross balls. I'm just not sure that they haven't fallen into this little, I mean, I don't know what the term would be, but just a little bit of complacency about a goal's going to come because we're good enough. And I hate to think that of these players because I don't think that's their attitude, but it just looks like it right now.
Solid defensive play by Rampone. Cox to Little. Trying to split the Sky Blue defenders, unable to do that. Just receiving the halftime stats. We'll pass a number of them your direction. In terms of shots, Sky Blue with 5, Seattle with 7 shots on goal, 2 for Sky Blue, 4 for the Reign. Corner kicks, Sky Blue with 1, officially Seattle with 3. I think they actually had more than that. I had them down for 5. In terms of fouls, 2 against Sky Blue, 4 against Seattle. Your numbers from the first
Great little
half
flaring
run
by Kim Little there, and a dangerous ball into the box.
LaRue blocked. Fishlock blocked.
Good defending by Sky Blue. That's 2 good opportunities. A little spin move by Kim Little and a great ball forward for her to get in behind there. And she crosses the ball into the middle. That gives them 2 great chances. But still, after that, you don't see the level go up of them with any kind of urgency to build something better out of it.
Cox.
I think the one thing you're seeing maybe even now is
Fishlock with some room if she can get the ball headed away. Well done by Cutshaw.
I guarantee you Laura probably talked about the width. They already look like they're trying to spread the field out wide a little bit better to open up some things inside or get around the the edges of this sky blue defense. Yeah, if I'm Jim Gabera, I'm happy right now with how this game is going. They could easily sneak a point out of it and or sneak 3 if they decide to press late. They've got plenty of, firepower going forward with O'Hara, with Friels, if the rain let them hang around too long.
Fletcher ahead. LaRue running on to the ball. And a poor pass by Sid. Flag up, offside. See Foligno. Janelle Foligno, Canadian who played at Rutgers. So certainly very much at home playing for this sky blue squad. Goebel out physicals Levin. And Cox and Little not on the same page there. And that's really kind of a microcosm of what we've seen tonight from Seattle. Boy, Goebel putting a little scare into Cameron there.
That's the second time.
Yeah.
I've told you
too
all
relaxed.
along, Brittany Cameron's living on the edge a little bit for my liking in a goalkeeper, but I'd like to see the Reign take advantage of some of it.
Kendall Johnson. Nice job by Nana to keep that ball in. She'll play it ahead. And Fletcher out to Stephanie Cox. Fishlock trying to play it ahead to Little. And Johnson right there for Sky Blue. Schmidt. O'Hara.
This isn't a good speed matchup for Kate. Kelly O'Hara against Kate. She's got to keep her in front of her, try to get a block on it.
Koppmeyer well positioned for Seattle.
And I'd say fortunately for Kate that Kelly O'Hara bailed out on that one. She went backwards, she went left, and she shot from outside the 18. Just kind of a gimme ball, easy one for Haley Koppmeyer. And again, maybe even a little bit of disinterest by the Sky Blue team.
Rampone being chased by Little. Cox sending it right back. LaRue trying to size it up. And Schmidt wins that battle.
You know, one of the things that's usually really, really dangerous for the Seattle Reign that we haven't seen that much of is Ellie Reed getting forward from the outside, Stephanie Cox getting in from the outside. I should have been keeping a stat. I haven't been keeping a stat just how many crosses have been played by the two of them. I don't remember more than one, to be honest with you. Ellie came in inside with the ball once the first half. I don't think Steph has served many deeper balls. I just don't know why that's not part of their tactic right now.
Yeah, we've seen that all season. Real strong suit. O'Hara making a nice run, putting some heat on Koppmeyer. Again, Haley's celebrating her 24th birthday. And tomorrow it'll be Kim Little.
When's your birthday, Tom?
Cinco de Mayo, Leslie.
Oh, now I know.
There you go. I quit counting him, though, a while back. Schmidt with a drop to Rampone. And a throw in coming up for Sky Blue. Ford. Levin. Kutschel. And that's off of Bev Goebel.
Well, Tom.
So far, more of the same here in the second half.
I'm not sure.
It's really, I must say, it's really difficult to try to explain why we're seeing what we're seeing. It's just very unusual. 6,000 people here, and you might as well have 20. I mean, just in terms of the lack of energy in the building right now, and that is not the norm here.
We've seen the type of goals that Seattle can score to get them on their feet. We've seen blasts by Sidney LaRue. We've seen slicing and dicing by Kim Little, cutbacks by Naho.
Fishlock shaken up, foul against Sky Blue.
All it would take is one of those to get them on their feet.
And that was Caitlin Ford coming in the collision with Jess. And the first card issued, yellow against Ford. Jess is still down, and she's not one to
maybe she's
make
just
something look larger than it is.
No, she's tough. I can't tell what hurt there. At first I thought maybe she landed on her back badly, but it's looking like it's something. Yep, there we go, back.
Yep. No players warming up right now for either club. Well, I think we're going to get a substitution coming here shortly for Jim Gabara and Sky Blue.
Who is that? Oh. Oh.
Friels is looking for O'Hara. Cox anticipating well. Scoreless in the 55th minute here at Memorial Stadium. First season that the Storm have called this facility home. Last year they were about 20 miles south in Tukwila. Starfire Soccer Complex, smaller in terms of seating capacity, a little more intimate at that location. Larger crowds here though with Memorial Stadium, which was the original home of the original Seattle Sounders club back in the North American Soccer League days back in 1974.
Well, they played here in the 80s and the 90s too. Here's something I can talk about. Jim Gabera played for the LA Heat, played for the San Diego Sockers, married to a very dear friend of mine, 91 Golden Ball winner Karen Jennings Gabera, head coach at the Naval Academy that I grew up with in Southern California. Talking to Jim before the game, I asked him, have you ever played here? Most guys his age have at some point in time. And he told me he gave Chris Henderson a little lesson here one time. So that's just a little jab from Jim to you, Chris, if you're listening at all. But, this is an iconic stadium. And, again, a lot of history in this place. And it'd be nice here in the next 30 minutes to see the rain do justice to that history. Hint, hint.
Substitution, the first of the match. Maya Hayes coming on, number 11, and Foligno comes off for Sky Blue. And this could be a situation here that Sky Blue is looking to take advantage of. The header, not much on it from O'Hara.
Maya Hayes out of Penn State. U20 national team player that won the World Cup in 2012. I know her coaches Erica Walsh and Ann Cook are here in town recruiting and getting a chance to see her play live.
She's out of Montclair, New Jersey, so again, this is playing for Sky Blue, her home team.
She's got great pace, good athleticism, scored a lot of goals for the Nittany Lions in Happy Valley.
Schmidt playing it out wide to Johnson. And Schmidt with some room to operate. Looking for O'Hara, headed away by Cox.
I'd like to see Stephanie Cox keep going forward, and I'd like to see Bev Goebel get even more forward, or Ellie Reed.
That's Reed on the ball, back to Winters.
I mean, if you look at the shape of both teams, there's plenty of space to play in.
Yeah. Fletcher back to Kopmeyer.
I don't think Sky Blue is pressuring them any more than Chicago did. I don't think they're, putting 3, 4, 5 players around the ball. They're being patient.
You'd mentioned Chris Henderson. For those that don't know, he's a member of the Seattle Sounders front office. The Sounders on the road today, getting a victory back at DC United. Seattle in first place.
Missing their national team players for the World Cup, and also having played an Open Cup game this weekend and traveling back to DC. That's a great testament to their their resiliency.
Goebel onside, battling with Ford.
No, good numbers forward right now. The Reign have to get something out of this. Make Cameron make a save.
Kawasumi onside. And Cameron with a save. Now that's been the best build-up and opportunity for Seattle here tonight.
Great build-up, great opportunity. Naho's, the ball went across her body a little bit too much and gave Cameron a decent angle on it. But again, I would say little lack of urgency and intensity to finish. That's got to be a goal.
Kawasumi headed out by Schmidt, throw in for Seattle. Into Fishlock. Back to Kawasumi. Right-footed service. LaRue. Header off the post. Kutchel sends it out. And finally some reaction.
The crowd's here still. It's good to hear them.
From the crowd.
They need to start pressing now and take that energy into finding a goal in the next few minutes here.
Little. There it is off the post. Fed in. Goebel. Offside. Bev Goebel making a run. U.S. men's national team, of course, will be playing on Tuesday against Belgium, round of 16 in Brazil. Jim Gabarra was a member of the U.S. men's national team, 86 to 89. I said, what's going to happen Tuesday? 1-0 U.S. Jim Gabarra's call. I like it.
I'm going with Jim. Belgium's a good team. They're the dark horse in this tournament. A lot of people talked about them leading in, but you haven't, they've won their games, and you haven't really heard that much about them. There hasn't been a lot of hoopla about them. One of the few European teams left, and the U.S., if they can get their legs under them and the excitement that's been building around that team, I think it's a perfectly winnable game for the United States.
See if Josie Altidore may be available. That is to be determined. Of course, Clint Dempsey plays for the Seattle Sounders, been outstanding, and Ellie Reed making a run. Goal kick coming up for Cameron. What's been really impressive is the play of DeAndre Yedlin. Locally grown product here in Seattle. O'Day High School came on in a very pressure-packed situation against Portugal. Did really well. Came on against Germany. Just 20 years of age.
Crossed one behind the goal.
Well,
and giggled.
I was trying to avoid that particular play.
I actually thought it was great. He laughed at himself. It was perfect in my mind. I really enjoy watching DeAndre play, and what a great opportunity for him. One, to be in this World Cup, first of all, at his age, and a homegrown player, our hometown guy. And, hats off to Jurgen. I've been a believer all along, really, honestly, in what he's done with this team. And, and the fact that he has them together and playing together and into the next round. But for DeAndre alone, I mean, how much is this going to bode well for our national teams in the future that these young guys are getting this opportunity to be a part of something like this?
Yeah, just 20, and a year and a half ago, not many people knew who DeAndre Yedlin was, and here he is at a World Cup. Ford coming up with a throw in for Sky Blue. LaRue gives it away. Rampone. O'Hara. Oh, nice job by 11 just to let it play through to Rampone. Blocked by Dinas. Throw in for Sky Blue. Nice early matchup in Brazil tomorrow. The Netherlands and Mexico.
That one's going to be a barn burner. How good has Mexico been? I mean,
what a turnaround.
What they went through in qualifying and how they're playing now through this tournament. And I have a couple of Mexican national team players, Veronica Perez and Amanda Perez. Amanda currently with the U20s, and they just finished a camp in Acapulco, and I think they're back in Mexico City training now. But it's been a great source of national pride for Mexico, and the Mexican Americans that live and play here couldn't be happier for their country. And the Netherlands have just been possibly one of the most fun teams to watch in the World Cup.
Winners. Well done, showing some great anticipation to take the ball away. And that's see if Seattle can do anything with it, though.
And that's what you haven't seen much of. I mean, Keelan made a run past the back line, some midfielders interchanging places and trying to get something going. Just hasn't panned out quite yet.
When you can sense the frustration building with this team, too. They just, I think, desperately want it, but they're not quite sure how to get the quality of play that they expect out of themselves. And Fishlock with a foul. She sends Katie Friels to the deck in another dangerous situation here. Set piece for Sky Blue. You know, frankly, Leslie, it might take a Sky Blue goal to bring Seattle to life here tonight.
Well, Tom?
We may find out if that's true or not.
Again, the coach in me, I cannot believe you just said that. One.
Header, Kottmeyer positioned very well.
Two, I was going to stick them on you if that would have gone in after the game.
I wasn't suggesting that's what I wanted. I was simply suggesting a potential scenario.
I knew what you meant. I'm just teasing you.
Little. Kawasumi.
It's a good run by Sid and a great ball played in between there by Kawasumi. Now we need some players to connect. Fishlock's making a decent run. There's numbers in the box.
Little, well done, Kim Little. And finally knocked away by Rampone.
Got the crowd going a little bit. They've been waiting to see the little magician do her stuff, and she tried there. Like to see some more of the same. Yeah, well done by Ellie Reed to keep the ball in. This ball's in play still.
Have not seen enough of Kim Little on the ball here tonight. Cannot have too much of that. A nice job by Levin. Hitting the deck, getting back up, and then getting fouled by Winters. Free kick for Sky Blue. 65th minute in Seattle. Earlier tonight, Leslie, you mentioned, I did not see it, but Kansas City, was that a victory over Portland tonight?
That was a 1-0 victory for Kansas City.
Last night, Western New York, Carly Lloyd, 2 goals. Ball into the box, and it'll be a goal kick for Seattle. 2-1 victory against Boston. And in a match that got underway at the same time as our action here, Washington playing at Houston.
And they are in the 67th minute there, and Washington is up 1-0.
So Kansas City with that victory tonight, 30 points on the season. Seattle with 35.
I said it, I don't know when I said it, possibly halftime. I've lost track. I said it earlier, this is going to be a game. If they don't get points out of it, I think if they don't get 3 points out of it, they're going to be disappointed. Sky Blue has done nothing really to counteract what the Reign is capable of doing. They just aren't playing up to their potential, flat out.
Mariah Noguera starting to warm up a bit for Seattle. You see her come on. Schmidt is looking for O'Hara. Levin with a header.
Mariah Noguera is warming up. That's the only person off the Reign bench. You know, what they've done in the past when they've had trouble getting a goal is to insert another holding midfielder, push Jess Fishlock up into the 10 spot, take one of the forwards off, and push Kim Little up on the front line. And that's worked for them multiple times, and I'm guessing if they don't get a goal here soon, that's probably what the move is going to be by Laura Harvey.
Fishlock ahead to Little. She's onside. Guarded by Rampone.
Just the timing of her runs is so good to stay in that onside position.
And a corner kick coming up for Seattle. Two of the best in the world right there going head to head. And Kawasumi will be taking the goal kick for the Reign. Again, targets in the air that Sky Blue must defend. Winners, Dynas, very good in the air for Seattle. And not the quality Seattle was looking for. Fletcher. And a throw in for Seattle. Fishlock with the touch. Sky Blue maybe with an opportunity here to counter. And Fishlock.
Interesting.
Fouled. Thought that might actually go the other way, but Nana committing the foul.
This is what I like to see. Steph Cox getting forward on the flank. They need to find her or find Ellie Reed on the other side and get around the outside of them, get numbers in the box, and get a cross off. Just not sharp.
Yeah. Saw Little trying to create something there and had to recover her own pass. Nana with a touch to Schmidt. Nana deflecting off of Reed. Not sure if we had a handball call or a foul, but free kick coming up for Sky Blue. Rampone to take it. Sends it into the 18. Fletcher with a header and a collision, and Goebel's down on the deck. She got tangled up with Levin. Gets a bit of a lecture from referee Chris Spivey. '70th minute in Seattle.
Yeah, I hope what we see here in a little bit, I mentioned Mariah Noguera earlier, and we saw Kim Little make that run in behind the back line. Again, not technologically advanced enough in our statistics here to know how many touches she's had on the ball. You really haven't seen any of their midfielders on the ball that much, and we haven't seen the ball out wide and cross. It's just sort of been sporadic possession, not really with a plan of how and where they're going to attack them. I don't think Sky Blue is doing anything in particular to counter what the Reign is good at. So I hope Laura decides sooner than later than to put Mariah Noguera in and push Kim Little up top so she at least has a chance to be in and around the goal.
Ford will come over to handle the throw in. Cox in quickly for LaRue. Winters double team, nearly gives it up, and does. Friels. Nana. Friels. And Cox going to the far touchline to Kawasumi. Cox, a lot of room on this near touchline if they can get her the ball, and late recognition is how Ford's over for defensive purposes. Cox, Little, touch header, LaRue, left foot.
Take a touch, Sid. Take a touch.
Get that ball settled and then
you're inside 12 yards.
Shot.
You know, your job's to finish goals. There's no reason with her, with a yard or two of separation from her defender, not to take a touch and place that ball.
I want to take a moment
I think I just sang. Did I just sing?
Feel free.
I possibly sang
Feel free.
Last thing.
I want to give a shout out to Joe Fan. Joe, if you follow the Reign, you know what outstanding work he has done as the club's reporter, practice reports, post-game. He's actually had done the PA here at Memorial Stadium as well. Really did an outstanding job. In fact, from a Reign perspective, it was too good.
Yeah.
Because the Tennessee Titans came after Joe, so he has made his way back to Nashville, and great pleasure meeting him this year. Again, terrific work. So
great guy, and he was doing some Reign shout-outs and tweets earlier today as well. So we wish Joe nothing but the best.
And Joe, we hope you enjoy the NFL experience, and he does like country music, so he's in the right place in Nashville. Really terrific contributions that he made to the team this season, both via Twitter, but primarily with his work on the club's Facebook page. Schmidt sends it right to Cox. See if Seattle can counter here. Goebel ahead. LaRue, the drop to Winters.
No, you see Sid take a little kick there, and again, that's, yeah.
Kawasumi serving it up.
And that's right where Sydney LaRue should have been. She took too much time, being upset that she got kicked. Get into the box and score, and then be mad that you got kicked. Don't sit around acting like the world should stop. It's very uncharacteristic of this team to be playing like this.
And now 3 players warming up for Seattle. Fishlock could not quite get on the end of that one.
More and more you're seeing Fishlock and Kim Little get past the back line. The midfield coming out of the midfield forward has tended to be the best chances that we've had. And again, still a little bit shocking, we haven't seen many cross balls.
Yeah. Dinas with a shove in the back of Hayes, committing the foul. We'll see what Christy Rampone can do with this.
She'll drive it. We saw one the first half.
On a player going down for Sky Blue in the box, and referee calling incidental contact. Sky Blue wanted a foul call, at least the players did. Coach Gabar did not make much of an issue of that. Little on the ball. Lorraine could really use to see some of her form that has made her the leading candidate for league MVP to this point. I think Schmidt sent that one right off the referee and then apologized for it.
I don't think anybody cares who gets the point or the assist tonight. If it has to come off him, great.
Cox battling to Goebel. Winters injured. She's hobbling. Here's Little. Needs some support.
Out wide is open. Ellery Reed's as far forward as I've seen her tonight.
Fishlock. Touch to Kawasumi. The drop to Reed. And looking for Fishlock. Goal kick for Sky Blue. Ashley Nick is coming on, number 12 for Sky Blue. Nana Kidu coming off.
So
the second substitution for Jim Gabarra. Seattle has yet to make its first.
Player out of the Pac-12, Ashley Nick out of USC, University of Southern California. Big presence in the air. You know, again, I don't know the method behind this specific substitution for Jim, but maybe he's hoping to start pressing, get a ball in the box, get a restart, get a foul, and get her head on the end of it, because she is definitely a force in the air. I think I see assistant coach Sam Lady up with, I believe, well, maybe not, a substitution card.
It's like Dahlstream is getting ready to come on. Kirsten Dahlstream plays both defensively, but also can add some minutes up front. We'll see what the plan is for her, if she in fact is the one about to come on for Seattle. Kopmeyer. Little. Double team. Well done by the Sky Blue defense. O'Hara.
Kim's trying to do a little bit too much on her own.
Very nice sliding tackle by Kate Dinas, taking the ball away from Hayes. Little. Goebel. Being chased by O'Hara. Bev Goebel. LaRue, left foot. And the flag up for offside.
You know, there's just some of those games where it doesn't go your way, and there's not much going right for the Reign this evening. That's a perfectly good break. Bev Goebel splits the defenders on the dribble for a good 30 yards. You know, she could have kept going into the box. She did, and then when she decided to play Sid wasn't watching the line and offside. And again, another wasted potential scoring opportunity for the Reign. I'm really surprised that we have not seen a substitution by the Reign yet.
'79th minute. Levin putting some pressure on Winters. Nice switch of the ball to Cox. Room for Goebel.
Shout out to the ECNL commissioner, Sarah Kate Nofsinger, who's gone up to the top of the Space Needle to take a picture of the game from over there.
she won't get all of it.
She got antsy. No, she didn't.
She'll get a portion of it.
She got a rail.
Yeah, you can't get it all, but nice effort.
Good job, Skate.
That is the view in Seattle, that's for sure. Johnson pops it up. Winters. Just a lot of room in the midfield. And there's just a bad pass by Winters that Hayes got involved in. LaRue trying to track this ball down. And Cameron.
Unorthodox.
Actually dribbled a couple of times, it looked like, before she could secure the ball.
She's a little loosey-goosey for me with the handling of the ball. Nice punt, though.
Dinas with a header. And Schmidt plays it back. No chance for Goebel there. Pride weekend in Seattle, and a lot of celebrations in the city this weekend. I believe the parade is tomorrow, so very busy downtown core in Seattle. Dinas playing it out. Scoreless in the 81st minute. Did not think that was a line I'd be using through the first 10 minutes of this match, when Seattle did come out with some energy and was really putting a lot of pressure on Sky Blue, and then it all just kind of disappeared. LaRue, can she keep it in? Cannot. She would have been 1v1 that time had she been able to. Good effort, but unable to pull it off. Well, Dahlstrom with the warm-up gear off. She's just waiting for the go-ahead from Laura Harvey to head to that fourth official to get into the action here. Ellie Reed. Ellie's dealing with a bit of a foot issue.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, she was out a couple games ago, I think, either partially or.
Hayes, look out. Maya Hayes with a drop. Friels.
And that might be why you haven't seen her getting up and down the flank as much as she typically does. And with Lauren Barnes out, I would say, you know, she's typically, even as a center back, a spark for this team. And I think they've missed her energy tonight, to be frank.
They were trying various tape jobs on her right foot, the her being Ellie Reed yesterday, trying to get her as comfortable as they could.
I don't know why there. Bev Goebel again comes back to Stephanie Cox, back inside. No one's taken the ball to the inline more than maybe twice in this game, and centered it, you know, across the mouth of the goal. We've seen it go across maybe one time, two at the most. And we just keep turning back to them and taking these, you know, half chances from outside that really haven't tested Brittany Cameron at all.
And the first substitution for the Reign coming in the 83rd minute. Kirsten Dahlstrom has come on for Seattle, number 25. And Kawasumi coming off as Dahlstrom comes on.
Dahlstrom's pacey outside.
That ball nearly got through to Little. Passed by Fishlock, well defended by Sky Blue.
So this isn't the typical move. They're going to leave her in a forward set. And Kim Little's going to remain in the midfield playing in the 10 spot. Dave can get up and down the flank, but that's of no use if they don't get the ball out wide. So it's an interesting substitution to me, unless they start playing the ball out there.
Here's Friels. Ahead to Hayes with some space. Working on Dynas. And the ball
lucky.
Scooped up by Kopmeyer.
To be honest with you, I'd like to see it on the replay if we could. But, you know, I'm not sure that wasn't a foul there. Again, I think, speaking of things other than the ball not being crossed more than once or twice, I don't think the referee's blown his whistle more than once or twice.
Yeah, it's been very few fouls. Little could not go after that ball. She realized she was offside. Yeah, I'm not sure we'll get more than a minute of added time. Very few stoppages in play. Maybe a couple minutes at the most. We'll see. Those could be critical minutes added on. Friels. Player we're unlikely to see for Sky Blue at this point, but with some local ties, Nikki Stanton out of North Bend, Washington, about 25 miles east of Seattle, played at Mount Si High School, so she certainly has some friends and family here tonight. Little ahead, very nice touch to LaRue.
She does the little things well, Little does.
Winners up ahead.
She needs some help from her compadres this evening, I'd add.
Not the pass Keelan was looking for. And that ball deflects off Goebel to throw in for Sky Blue. Well, certainly Seattle very disappointed, I know, in its performance, at least up to this point. And obviously, they're going to be disappointed if they come away with a draw here, having won 2 matches in New Jersey. Beating this team at their place twice and then to come back home and not continue that trend, you know, might not sit too well. But those are sometimes, as a coach, I think maybe you can get your team dialed back in rather quickly.
Yeah.
And use it as a learning tool. Friels.
Well, hope I don't lose
Friels with room and a dangerous left foot.
Hopefully I don't lose any friends from the broadcast, but you know, my disappointment up to this point is all these young kids that came out to watch this game. And again, I think they're seeing great technical work. I think they're seeing some quality in the players that are out here, and you can certainly tell the level of this player that they want to aspire to be. I just don't think the game as a whole has had the excitement factor in it that we've seen on this pitch this year.
Second substitution for Seattle. Danielle Foxhoven comes on, number 18. Bev Goebel off. Foxhoven played collegiately at Portland, another one of those pilots out on the field. Dynas deflected by Hayes. Levin taken away by Fishlock. Little. Now we've seen Seattle on a number of times this season score very late in matches to either draw even or win a match. We'll see if they can dig deep and find some of that magic here tonight in the 87th minute.
You know, that long ball there with, I don't know, who was that? Danielle Foxhoven running forward. You know, one person up front against Christy Rampone typically isn't going to cut it. Or their back four dropping. Just the numbers aren't great. They've kind of given up on the build-up, to be honest.
Cameron ahead. Header, look out, O'Hara there, but Kopmeyer, well played, beats her to the ball. Reed. Dahlstream, she has pace. Working on Johnson. And it results in a corner for Seattle.
And that's what needs to happen. take on, get a corner, get across, something that creates a dangerous opportunity for the Reign.
And with Kawasumi out of the game, it looks like it'll be Kim Little to take the corner. Little. Dynas with a header. Okay, Dynas, a local product out of Issaquah High School, about 20 miles east of Seattle.
That was a good ball in. One of the more dangerous opportunity by the Reign. And again, great substitution. Kristen Dahlstrom getting down the line to draw the corner kick out of it by forcing her defender half the defender.
Keelan Winters shaken up again. Kopmeyer, big punt. Schmidt controls for Sky Blue. Little. Little ahead to LaRue. And another corner coming up for Seattle.
Yep, this is going to be the opportunities they keep getting. Flank, 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 cross, corner. I mean, they just need to keep for the next 2, possible 3 minutes. I don't know that we will have a lot of extra time. Keep forcing the ball out wide and try to create something there, because that's what we really haven't done much this evening. And I think you're seeing now that that's where they've gotten their chances late. They could score one here.
Fletcher going for the header.
Great teams find a way late, and this team has certainly done that this year.
Little. Overshooting LaRue. Two minutes of added time. Foxhoven, LaRue.
We've seen it all season. If any team in this league can find a way late to steal the points, it's the Seattle Reign.
Played out wide to Reed.
Outstanding
into the box.
ball by Ellie
Foxhoven.
That's
Boy,
tough
she
there.
took an elbow.
She did, right to the back, and I think the way this game has been going, it might be a tough one for him to call, but you can't base the game on how the game, he had to make that call. She got pushed in the back, there's no doubt.
Maybe after this corner is played, we'll get another look at that play in the box.
And there's what we see from Ellie Reed. Get forward, early service, outstanding ball to Ellie Reed, or to Danielle Foxhoven.
Fletcher, no. Fishlock, the drive! Off the crossbar. And played out. It'll be a throw-in for Seattle.
And the crowd comes alive. They're on their feet now. 2-3 opportunities in the row for the Seattle Reign.
Foxhoven to Cox.
Can they steal the points late?
Well served
Great ball.
LaRue! No! Wide left. The best opportunities coming late in this match. Just about 40 seconds left to be played. And it begs the question, why did it take so long to see these types of opportunities for Seattle?
And I don't want to belabor a point. They've had an interesting week, the Seattle Reign,
yeah.
and maybe that's had an effect on them. And I should cut them a little bit of slack. It's just they've been a resilient, tough team for the past 2 seasons, and every team's allowed. And with that said, without their best performance, they've still managed not to give up a goal.
Gulfstream trying to make a run on the ball. Professional play right there by Rampone to send it out. Cox. And that was the last touch in this match that ends in a scoreless draw. So Seattle remains unbeaten, now with 36 points on the season, 11 wins, no
Hi, Mike, how are you?
losses, 3 draws for Sky Blue, 3 wins, 6 losses and a 7th tie for Jim Gabarra's club. They are at 16 points, and they have to feel very good all in all about their road trip to the Northwest. Leslie, they get the victory in Portland, and they get the tie here tonight.
Yeah, that's 4 points for Sky Blue going back to the East Coast, and they do have to be happy. That's not easy to do with that kind of travel in this league and against 2 of the better teams in the league. So Jim's got to be really happy with taking that home. And again, our Seattle Reign are now 11-0-3 and still undefeated. So they get past this game, they get through this game, they get through this week, and there's better things ahead for this team. Again, you know, we've seen this team attack and create opportunities much like they did in the last 2 minutes. We've seen that all season, and we've seen those fall for them. They didn't fall tonight. There wasn't a lot of other opportunities throughout the body of play in the game. But I would say also, Haley Kottmeyer was not called into action at all. Sky Blue really didn't make her do anything outside the first 5 minutes of the game, so neither team really had an attacking punch. And sometimes, you know, that's the middle of the season. That's, you know, different circumstances. And I think the Reign are going to get past this one, happy they didn't give up 3 points, and move on to the next.
Next game, by the way, for Sky Blue, that's going to be a home contest on Wednesday against Houston. 7 o'clock local time. For the Seattle Reign, it's back to Western New York. They were just there on June 22nd, but they're heading back to Rochester. After that match on Wednesday, they will be home a week from tomorrow against Boston, and then they will be back out on the road on July 12th to play at Chicago. So that is what is upcoming for both of these teams here tonight. Again, a record crowd. We don't have the official number, but we knew that it would be right in the neighborhood of 6,000 fans here tonight at Memorial Stadium. For Leslie Gallimore, the Bootstrapper crew that brings this broadcast to you via YouTube, thanks for joining us tonight. Whether you are in the Seattle area or back in New Jersey, we appreciate your time this evening. Again, the final score, scoreless, between the Seattle Reign and Sky Blue FC.
Always a pleasure, Tom. Let it rain.